Welcome into Section 65. It's episode 4. We are 2 days away from football in the SEC. I'm your host, Clay Keaton, alongside my partner and good friend, Tanner Colson. Tanner, how's it going?
Oh,
Season's
it's going
here.
good. It's about as good as I've been in about 8 months, probably.
I'm starting to get the itch. I'm starting to really get a little shaky, a little
I feel
tingly.
it. It's like it's down in my groin right now. Like it's like I know the season's coming, man. I can't wait. It's like it felt like a dream for so long, and it's
oh my
here.
gosh, I can't believe it's here. I can't believe it's real.
Dude, I didn't think NFL would happen. I didn't think college football would happen there for a little bit, and here we are, and everyone's playing, man. Everything's good. All is good in the world.
Just feels right. All right, we're going to go over obviously we're going to pick some games. We're going to look at some lines. We're going to talk some betting, some gambling. Some news in the SEC regarding transfers today all over the SEC. There's been some impact with who's being cleared, who's not being cleared, why they're not being cleared. The SEC media picked they picked their picks for who would win the conference today. So we'll go over that. Some news down in Alabama. We're going to look at who is starting at quarterback in some of the schools. There's 4 schools that haven't named their starting quarterback. So we'll look at that and talk about the hotline, and then we'll finish with the Vols and the Cox, the rivalry, the hometown rivalry between Tanner and I. He's got the Clowney jersey up there. Obviously, I've got the Power T behind me and on my leg. But
the Civil War of Section 65.
Correct. Yeah, it could get a little hot, a little heated in here. But week 1, college football, SEC. Tanner, let's get ready to roll.
Let's ride, brother. All right, Clay, another week, man. Another week of college football, but this week is bigger than any other week. You know why? Because we finally get the only conference that really matters. It just means more, the top of the top, the hot states.
No more candy ACC games all weekend.
No more candy-ass Wake Forest, Clemson games. No more of that.
Yeah, Clemson, congratulations on your 49-0 win over Wake Forest.
We get to watch the big boys play big boy football. I can't wait. But in big news around the conference, the SEC media did their big betting favorites and things like that. They did their their preseason picks.
Yeah.
And you got Florida and Alabama are favorites to win their divisions, obviously. But oddly enough, though, we've got Georgia is the favorite to win the SEC over Florida.
Yeah, interesting that Georgia was picked to win the league and not the East. Florida picked to win the East, which is who I've been.
They're just steady.
Yeah, I've been going with Florida. That's my pick, and then the West. I'll probably play it safe and take Alabama, but I was really surprised where the media let A&M fall all the way down to 4th in the West, which I have them at 2nd or 3rd, but. Just very interesting. There's a lot of several. I think Vandy and A&M have the most players combined opted out this Saturday, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, Vandy wasn't really going to go anywhere regardless, and those kids are probably smart enough to really make it after school, so it's probably in their best interest to just opt out.
Yeah. Vandy.
Sorry, Vandy.
We don't. I mean, what's the line? I think it's 31. A&M by 31. On Saturday is the line for an in-conference game.
And Jimbo's been disappointing to this point too.
And A&M.
And I like Jimbo, but it's not like A&M has really figured it out yet, and ththey're still favored by 31.
Yeah, anchor down. Obviously COVID has brought a lot of changes. The minimum or capacities are down to a maximum of 25% and all that. But let's talk about these wristbands.
Dude, the SEC is ahead of the times, man.
Well, can you kind of tell me? I mean, you're kind of more knowledgeable about this than I am. So, are we just tracking our guys, or what? How does this work?
So, I don't really know all the ins and outs of everything like that. I'm not there or anything, but from what I understand, I'm a big NFL guy, and in the NFL, they've had these
Right.
since they started camp. Where I think they talked about it on Hard Knocks a little bit actually, but they have these wristbands that are just like little like Apple Watch looking things, and their screen is like green until you come too close to somebody, and it basically like alerts you if you get too close to people. So everyone, when they come in every single day, they got to put in their tracking wristband, and it basically is just a way of like and it tracks people, how often people are too close to other people and things of that nature. But it's definitely a good sign. I think that the SEC, who's been big on playing all season, has kind of instituted stuff like this where they're on par with all the major sports leagues out there. I think that bodes well for the season starting and finishing on schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think, I obviously I know, and I'm not ignorant to think that the NFL isn't a much higher power than the SEC, but I don't think, it's not.
The gap's not that big.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a gap, but at least resource-wise, I think that it's a little closer than people think. Obviously, nowhere near as much money, but Cade Mays still not cleared by the SEC. Everybody was kind of under the impression that, and there's some other players that you're going to tell us about who are also dealing with the same things. I was kind of under the impression, and it seems like Jeremy Pruitt after his press conference was also under this impression.
It seems like the impression that I was under the same thing.
I was thinking that once the NCAA, checked their box, yeah, the SEC still has to check theirs, but I kind of thought it was like and Cade Mays still isn't cleared, and Jeremy Pruitt today basically said that they haven't heard from the SEC, kind of made it seem like they didn't know that we were going to even be in this loophole of not knowing what's going to happen. And there's several other players. You said there's somebody at South Carolina who's trying
Jalen Brooks.
Yeah, and then there's a Georgia transfer trying to play for Ole Miss.
Every situation's different.
Right. Every situation's different and delicate, but it's very interesting to me. And, Tennessee's O-line looks pretty good, but Cade Mays would be a huge addition, and I'm just really surprised because everybody was really excited about the NCAA, about their verdict or whatever.
I want to know what Georgia's doing. I don't know who they're buddying up to with the NCAA or whatever, but they seem to be like they literally had two different quarterbacks transfer and get approved in a week, and we're still waiting on all these other teams.
I don't know who the NCAA has working for Georgia or who Georgia's got working for the NCAA, I guess would be a better way to put it. But I honestly, truly think that, number one, the college football world is a business, and unfortunately, in today's college football world, it's becoming a pretty corrupt business. There's two types of people in the college football world in today's time, if you ask me. There's cheaters and there's losers. And I just keep hearing, I just haven't heard anything good about Georgia or anybody wanting to be there, pretty much ever since Kirby arrived there. I had a buddy who played there, and he just said it wasn't what it was all cooked up to be. And obviously the Cade situation is delicate, and there's other things going on and things like that. But it just seems like a consistent thing that there's a lot of weird stuff going on in Athens. A lot of weird, twisted shits going on down there. And I don't know what kind of voodoo or what kind of, toxic bulldog waste is going on down there, but it's a toxic situation down there. And it seems like it's a situation that everybody wants to get out of.
Well, to me, it kind of makes it seem like there's probably all sorts of stuff like this going on behind the scenes of all these other big programs. But Georgia's just not quite as buttoned up with it. Kirby Smart's a pretty young, newer head coach. Who's he with? Bama for a while. Is that where he came from? Yeah. So, maybe he just doesn't know all the ins and outs like Nick Saban does, and maybe that's just what's going on everywhere. But things don't seem to be going well down there.
It's like the whole thing we talked about a couple episodes ago of Kirby Smart. Maybe he's just a straight up asshole. He literally has Jamie Newman commit and probably told him that the job is his. And 2 weeks later, here comes JT Daniels, and now Jamie Newman's playing Xbox with Kelly Bryant doing nothing. So
they're both couch sitters.
Yeah, am I kind of happy to see another ACC quarterback transfer to the SEC and fail? Yeah, but do I think that Jamie Newman might have gotten fucked over a little bit by Kirby Smart? Yeah, 100%.
Well, so
I don't know, man. We'll see. I think it's going to be interesting to watch Georgia this year. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, who they got? They got Arkansas first game. I mean, unfortunately, I think they'll hammer Coach Pittman and his coming out party, but it's going to be very interesting to see what goes down in Athens and see if any of this karma might be coming for Kirby.
We'll see if karma is a real thing this season. We'll know for sure. If there's one
Karma
thing,
Smart. Changing
listen,
his name from Kirby Smart to Karma Smart.
if there's one thing I know in this world, is that Kirby Smart is a motherfucker. I'm sorry to the Georgia listeners you got. I have really no evidence of any of this, but there's one thing I know for sure. It's that guy is up to something. I don't trust him. I don't like him.
I don't trust him either. I don't like him either.
It's like he's brutal. There's something about him that he's hot. He's got skeletons in his closet that will come to light one day. And when they do, we're going to look smart. Me and Clay here, we're going to look smart for knowing before everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that happens.
It's going to be like a Ted Bundy scenario.
Yeah, it'll be very, very, very interesting. Let's get into the quarterbacks. Alabama has named Mac Jones as their starter. I don't know how much we're going to see of Bryce Young starting out. I mean, if it's like it's been in the past with Alabama, it could be 4 games, it could be 4 possessions, it could be it could be anything.
Well, what I like about Bama is their quarterbacks almost don't seem to matter, really. I mean,
that's very true.
A lot until Tua, they were not exactly a factory. They just put like 5th-year guys and experienced players in, and it worked out.
Yeah, they've had some real shitters back there who just were good enough to hand the ball off and throw it up. But Mac Jones will be the starter in Tuscaloosa. Honestly, wasn't too impressed with him last year. I'm sure he's gotten better. But don't be surprised if we see a little bit of Bryce Young. I mean, I don't know how they couldn't play him, the talent that he has, but it'll be very interesting. Georgia hasn't named their starter yet.
JT Daniels?
Well, I mean, we think it's going to be JT Daniels, but we're not sure. Arkansas hasn't named theirs either. Felipe Franks is the front runner, but
if wherever Felipe Franks plays, I love to root against.
Yeah, and I was looking on today. Ole Miss, they've got Plumlee and Corral. I think that's how you say it, Corral. I'm not really sure, but kind of a toss-up. I think we'll probably see a little bit of both of them this Saturday. And then Vandy hasn't named their starting quarterback either. I honestly don't even know who they have. Don't care. We're just throwing them in there because they haven't named it.
We'll find out when we see him play.
Yeah. We'll see him play and see. But I am interested to see how Mac Jones does. I mean, obviously this first Missouri game is a K game. What did you say the line was? 31 or something ridiculous? 27.
Yeah, the one I'm looking at is 27.
Yeah. I mean, they'll come down or go up, but very interesting to not have a starting quarterback, especially out of Arkansas and Georgia. If you ask me, maybe it's not JT Daniels' job.
I mean, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they have some 4 or 5-star or something like that we don't really know that much about because of JT Daniels and Jamie Newman. I haven't really been looking that deep.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me at all to find out they've got some, young buck that is out playing JT Daniels who came from the Pac-12, the Pac smells. But, who knows? Maybe they're just going to do what we all thought they would do and put JT Daniels in week 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably their best go-to move, but I don't know. We'll see. We will see.
In other SEC quarterback news, it's official, by the way, that we got Colin Hill at South Carolina starting over Ryan Helinski.
We'll see. I mean, hey, Colin Hill ain't no joke. Bobo is coming in too, new guy. I mean, Bobo's probably been vouching for this guy all spring, all summer, saying this is the guy. Let's go with this guy. And maybe
I have to think
agree.
It's some kind of if I were to guess, I would say that it's some kind of a Hail Mary by like the Muschamp staff where they're saying, listen, if we don't score some damn points, we're gone. And then I don't know where his next head coaching opportunity comes from, but Helinski was all right last year, but he didn't really blow me away or anything. But I think it shows what the Vegas's faith is that the over under for Gamecock score or points went down by 3 after they announced him the starter.
Yeah. Interesting. Tennessee is a 3.5 point favorite in that game on Saturday. I honestly think that Tennessee line might get up to about 4.5, 5. Not sure. It's been moving a little bit. I think it started out at 1. But let's get into our picks. I think Tanner and I both have some gambling, some lines, some things we want to talk about, and then let's pick a winner of each game. Go through the picks and talk about who we think is going to win and. But yeah, let's start out with that one line that we agreed on. So I think we're both gonna kind of lock in. I originally I was actually on the other one of the other Garage Guys fantasy sports podcasts before this one, kind of promoting this show. And when I first came on, I was gonna say Ole Miss plus 14.5. But then I got a text from one of our guys who we consult with, and he said, no, let's take Florida. So we're going Florida minus 14. I think it's going to be close in the first half. I do, but I think Florida minus 14, second half, it'll look really good.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like throwing darts blindfolded a little bit the first week, but
yeah.
I think there's something about Florida. 14 just doesn't seem like that much to me with the new coach coming into Oxford, Mississippi. Like, it just seems like, from what I saw last year from both teams, Ole Miss was kind of a mess last year. They weren't very good, and now they got Lane Kiffin. So
yeah, I mean Kiffin, I don't know what he is against the spread. I honestly would think that it's probably not that bad, but I just don't think that Ole Miss has the power to slow Florida down for 4 quarters.
It's kind of one of those classic, like, football, like what everyone says, where it's like he's got to get his guys in there, man. He's got to get his boys in there.
He's got to get him in there, man.
Wow, you can't just play with anyone's old team out there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does on the. Yeah, I think that's definitely a great one to look at. Go ahead with one of yours.
So next we're gonna have Mississippi State at LSU. I'm taking Mississippi State plus 16.5. Just because LSU just lost all this talent, they lost all sorts of players. I think that if I got to pick it, give me Mississippi State. They've got Mike Leach coming in. They're going to be running all sorts of different stuff. LSU's got a lot of losses. I think they probably win it still, but that's what I love about college lines is it's like 17 points, whereas right. I think they might pull away late or pull away early, but I think they'll be able to, the talent's good enough that they can keep it the same. Next we got Georgia at Arkansas. Right now Georgia's favored by 26.5 points. What do you got, Clay?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm picking Georgia.
Yeah, well, Georgia's obviously going to win. I think they're going to blast them. 27 points is a lot, but give me Georgia, I would say. Why not?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, 27 points is a lot, but I think that just in a straight pick'em situation, I'll take Georgia to do that.
Yeah. CBS is in Baton Rouge for that Mississippi State game, but they should be in Auburn. They should be.
That Kentucky-Auburn game, I think, is going to be the best game of the opening weekend, essentially.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's just because it's Kentucky. I mean, that's why. I mean, nobody wants the Kentucky game on there. It's not basketball season. But
that's true.
I will be taking Kentucky 10.5, Kentucky plus 10.5. It looks pretty good. Unfortunately, I think Kentucky might actually live up to a little bit of their hype. I've been kind of looking deeper into their –
Hey, say what you want. They've been steady the last couple of years. They
didn't really lose anybody last year, and they've got Terry coming back to throw that pigskin around. So we'll see what Kentucky can do. But
they played half of last season with Lynn Bowden Jr., the wide receiver / kick returner / running back.
Yeah, that's another thing about Kentucky is they're literally capable of anything. They will pull out all the strength. They will do whatever they have to. They will do whatever it takes.
They will. And Mark Stoops, that's my verbal tip.
Nothing to lose mentality. They've got a nothing to lose mentality, and it's honestly not hurt them too bad the past couple of years.
No, they bring.
But I think that Kentucky plus 10.5 looks pretty good. Obviously, I'll take Auburn to win the game, but Kentucky plus 10.5.
All right. I also like Kentucky plus 10.5. 10.5 is a lot of points to me.
Yeah.
A good Kentucky team, and I feel like Auburn is one of those teams that they're just built to go 8-4 in a normal year
Right.
every season.
Right.
I like their quarterback a lot. I like what they got going on defense. That's kind of a year after year thing, but
Right.
I like Kentucky. And then so we got Bama Mizzou minus 27 for Bama, and then we got Vandy A&M, and that's a 31-point spread. Did we already do Vandy A&M?
We talked about it a little bit. We didn't pick it, but I mean everybody knows who we're picking.
You got A&M, and I got Vandy, right?
I mean, I don't know if A&M's going to cover 31. I'd honestly they probably will. I cannot wait to see how bad Vanderbilt actually is. Well, and it's a shame because Vanderbilt's not going to be on TV this Saturday, folks. So all 6 Vandy fans tune into the Vols game because that's what's going to be being shown.
The game that matters in Tennessee.
Yeah. But Vandy will get their ass kicked. I mean, we're taking Vandy to win 0 games this year. I don't know if you're actually locked in on that, but I've already locked that in. So 0 wins for Vandy. I've got the under. It's under 1. Put 100 on it just for fun.
All right, and then Bama Mizzou minus 27. That's the last one we got.
I mean, I'll take Bama to cover, sure.
Yeah, right.
Why not?
All right, so out of all that slate, what are your 3 big locks of the week? Because I've got mine. I think they're piping hot, steaming hot. I think if our listeners don't trail me, I think they're going to lose out on a lot of free money here.
Yeah, I mean, my 3 locks are Kentucky plus 10.5. Florida minus 14, and I won't be betting on it just for the sake of my own sanity, but I think Tennessee minus 3.5 is a pretty good safe bet.
All right, we'll get into that one in just a minute, but yeah, for me, I've got Florida at Ole Miss. I like Florida to cover 14 points for sure. I've got Mississippi State at LSU. Like I said, when we were running through everything, and then for me, my big burger, I'm thinking Bama at Mizzou. I kind of like that game. I think Bama, it seems like they're always making statements. I could see them coming out and just blowing the doors off. I got Bama minus 27.
I don't know. I think that a lot of my listeners our listeners who know me know, and if you're watching the YouTube video right now, you'll be able to kind of tell my entire vibe through this entire show is one that's a little bit, I guess, nervous is the word. But I mean, I'm starting to get I usually catch the butterflies Wednesday morning. Wednesday's hump day.
Yep,
Wednesday means the next day we're closer to game day there than we are, farther from it
than you've ever been. Yeah, closest you've ever been to game day.
And so it's so funny because Chase and Drew were kind of calling me out on it because I mean, I was kind of getting into the game and talking about it. I was sweating a little bit. But it is a big deal and it's a huge deal. And if anybody thinks that I'm joking about anything about it not being a big deal, then you're just have a low IQ because everything is we're entering a different time. We're going from preseason to season form. We are going to be locking in on a different level. It's a different feeling. It's a different
vibe around the whole show.
Yeah, it's a different emotion. And week by week, people will be able to tell how the Vols played pretty much based on the first 30 seconds of the episode. So, I don't want to be too volunteer-based, but it is a huge deal. And fortunately enough for the show and for the listeners, game 1, we've got a little, little showdown here, a little Gamecock.
A civil conflict of sorts.
Yeah. Tanner and I think, what did we bet $20 on it last year or something just for fun? Just
a casual.
I think I texted you right before the game and said I got 20 on the balls or something like that. Yeah. I don't want to sound too cocky.
No pun intended.
That's pretty funny. I would honestly take Tennessee up to probably -6. Just because I don't know. I just don't see it for the Cox. I really don't. I don't see it. on offense. I don't know. I don't know what Bubba's going to be doing. I think we might be in for a little bit of a close first half, kind of like last year. But I think that Tennessee's ground game will just be too much for the Cox to handle. Now, granted, South Carolina defensively is a lot better than they are offensively. But I don't think
I don't know if I'd go quite that far. They're all right. They're kind of all right on both sides, but they're not really. I think I would say average at both ends in the SEC.
Well, and Tennessee's average at some areas on the field too, but I will say they've got a great offensive line. They've got 2 good running backs. They've got a good secondary, some good linebackers. Their D-line is weak sauce, and their special teams is good. So, it'll be interesting. And honestly, if we're just being straight up, I expect Tennessee to outcoach South Carolina. I expect them to pretty much have their way with them after the first quarter. So, and in respect to you, because, a couple years ago, you and I would have been getting really heated over this. But
I mean, I'll have my chance to rebuttal whenever you're done with your soapbox here, bud.
All right, well, here it is. But I think
Oh, I'm playing with house money here. It's South Carolina. We've never really won much of anything. You're a Tennessee fan. You've got that fucking power tee tatted on your thigh. It's the size of my head. And for me, I went there for a couple years, transferred out. I still love it. I'm still kind of a Gamecock guy, but at the end of the day, dude, we're playing with house money, man. I'm not nervous. You're nervous,
I just want the people to understand it's not like I'm not like tired right now. I'm not. I mean, yeah, I've yawned a couple times, but I'm not like delirious or delusional.
Clay has been thinking about this game all week, and I have the benefit that I don't have a Gamecock tattoo. I love the place. I love the school, but I've got absolutely no expectations. I think Will Muschamp is more likely to be a lame duck than our coach next year. To it, that line 3.5, I loved it at 2.5, frankly, for Tennessee, but at 3.5, I'll take it for the Cox. Am I confident in that? Not really.
It's a must-win game for the Vols, and I just don't think that this Tennessee coaching staff is going to lose many games that they're not supposed to lose.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. Wouldn't that be nice at Tennessee after the last couple of years?
I can't believe we're both taking Florida -14. I mean,
I love it. I love it. That's my favorite. That's my number one lock of the whole weekend. But we got a big game this weekend, and we're gonna change our cover art to gear of one of us in the other team's gear for the week following this. That's what we're gonna bet. So if the Volunteers win, I will be on the cover of the podcast rocking Tennessee orange, which, just so you guys know, it will kill Clay. It'll be the worst day of his life.
Yeah, it'll actually be pretty torn up.
Well, I get the points too, right?
Sure.
All right. I love it. I'm all about it.
Cocky, not confident. Or I'm sorry, confident, not cocky. No, cocky, not confident. Hey, if the Gamecocks win, that power tee right there, that beautiful orange, gorgeous power tee will be a dirty little Gamecock. I'm not too worried about it. Vols -3.5. Lock it in. Take it all the way to 6.
Dude, I would have honestly bet against the Cox at -2.5. I would have probably hopped right in. I would have been like, all right, a field goal, I like it, but I've watched this Muschamp Tennessee game too many times, and it's usually pretty close.
I'm so nervous, dude. It's really setting in for me. Like, I'm going to Nashville tomorrow. Like, I'm going to be there tomorrow. I'm going to be so fucking – so Friday's going to kill me.
Big bet of the day. We're going to put a lot on it. Cover art and other teams' gear.
College football, the SEC is finally here, folks.
It's time.
I'm going into a different form, a rare form. I'm going to be very nervous for the next couple days. This will be a weekly thing for me. It's going to be very interesting to see and to see my mood as the balls play out. But no, aside from that, thank God it's here. It's finally here. We've been waiting all summer. Thought that it wasn't going to be here, Tanner. I'm more than happy to be on this journey alongside you as we travel through the COVID college football season. It's going to be a hell of a ride.
Can't wait, brother. All right, this is Tanner Colson and Clay Keaton. We're signing off for the Section 65 podcast, a subsidiary of the Garage Guys Fantasy Podcast Sports Network. Let's go, boys. All right, we'll see you guys later.
Peace.